I'd like to call the meeting of Tuesday, May 1st, 2018 to order. We respectfully acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people, where we live, learn, and play. I'd like to move to adoption of the agenda, moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Thorpe. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to minutes of the April 3rd, 2018 open board meeting. Moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor, motion carries. Moving to minutes of the April 17, 2018 special open board meeting. Moved by Trustee Thorpe, seconded by Trustee Dolman. All those in favor, motion carries. And moving to the best part of the evening, recognition and delegations. And the first is students representing the Cowichan Music Festival at the Provincial Performing Arts Competition. And Grant Malmstrom, would you introduce them?
Good afternoon, my name is Grant. Thank you, Candace. I'm the Vice Principal at Ecole Calda Hill Elementary, and we want to thank the board on behalf of the Cowichan Music Festival for giving us the chance to celebrate the achievements of our students in School District 79 with the fine arts. For the past 69 years, the Cowichan Music Festival, and 36 years under the leadership of Leslie Schoberg, thank you for coming last week, the Music Festival has provided students, adults, and community groups a chance to perform their arts in a variety of disciplines: voice, choral singing, dance, piano, instrumentation. And with the support of our fine arts and music teachers in our School District 79, plus our community teachers, over 50 students from School District 79 have been chosen to either perform or observe at the Provincial Music Festival of the Arts in Victoria at the end of May. So, without further ado, we've got a group to perform for you. And I'm happy to introduce Sheila Johnson, who is their director of the choir. One little plug for Sheila. For those of you who don't know Sheila, she taught in the school district for many years before she retired, and she's a early retirement. And she was a gift to the district, and she's a gifted music educator. So we're really happy to have her here. So thanks, Sheila. And she can introduce the board.
I will. Okay. Let's get you in some sort of order. Yes, I took early retirement in 2001, and in 2002 started the Cowichan Valley Youth Choir. So we're now in our 16th season, and we have this year 48 choir members. Those 48 choir members belong to 3 choirs. The junior choir has 18 members, the concert choir 21, and these boys behind me, there are 9 of them. We're missing one today? Right, he's got a rugby game, so that has to be done. So, and I believe it's 6 of these 9 boys have been with the youth choir since they were about 8 years old. So it's great that they're now singing tenor, baritone, and bass. So a cappellas, we're going. Oh, and we also brought a guest with us, Dan Marble from Ladysmith, who is going to be accompanying us on our 2 songs that we're singing. Our first song is. Oh, and I didn't mention that all 3 of those groups all 3 of our youth choir groups are doing the provincials. So, our first song is called Jambo. It's from Kenya, so it's in Swahili. I don't trust myself without it. Memory is not quite the same when you get up there. Okay.
Jambo, Jambo Bwana, habari gani, nzuri sana, wageni, mwakaribishwa, Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo, Jambo Bwana, habari gani, nzuri sana, wageni, Wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Kenya nchi nzuri, hakuna matata. Sote nchi ya maajabu, hakuna matata. Nchi yenye amani, hakuna matata. Sote nchi ya maajabu, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Kenya nchi nzuri, hakuna matata. Sote nchi ya maajabu, hakuna matata. Nchi yenye amani, hakuna matata. Sote nchi ya maajabu, hakuna matata. Oh, Kenya wote, hakuna matata. Oh, Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Oh, Kenya wote, hakuna matata. Oh, Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Hakuna matata, hakuna matata. Hakuna matata, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata.
And our second song probably doesn't need too much introduction. I think many of you will recognize this song, 16 Tons.
Do 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 dum 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 dum. Some people say a man is made out of mud, a poor man's made out of muscle and blood and skin and bones. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Do 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 do. I was born one morning when the sun did shine. Picked up a shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, "Oh well, bless my soul. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store." Do 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 do. You see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men did, a lot of men died. One will survive, the other is healed. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Do, do, do.
Having us, it's awfully warm in here, especially when you're singing. I didn't think to say, we have our 9 boys altogether between the age of 13 and 18. So thank you very much for having us.
Bravo.
Well, there's no question as to why they would have won. Spectacular.
Grant?
Yes.
Thank you.
And
All Silver 679 students.
thank you. Moving on to delegation number B, Skills Canada National Competition participants. The Cowichan Valley School District had 9 students representing us at this year's Skills Canada BC's provincial competition. 2 of our students are heading off to the Skills Canada Nationals. And Larry Matten would like to introduce them.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. So you get Larry Matten, Principal of Careers. Yeah, we did awesome. We took over 140 kids to regionals, and out of the regionals, we have 9 candidates who actually qualified to compete at provincials. And at provincials, 2 of our kids placed gold, so they get to go to nationals in June, the beginning of June. And I've got them right here. So we've got Taylor. Taylor, come on up. Taylor Walters, a very brave young lady, likes the stage, well, a little bit, and competed as public speaking. She placed gold in the regionals at Camosun, and then at provincials, placed gold at provincials, and nailed it, knocked it out of the park. Yes. And we've also got Lawson Wallace. Come on up, Lawson. Lawson has been attending our refrigeration and air conditioning mechanic program at VIU, our trade center in town, and competed. There was no regional competition for him. He went straight to provincials, and I talked to one of the judges, and he blew everybody out of the water as well. His scores were twice the silver candidate. So I think we got 2 great candidates moving on to nationals. So we're very proud of them. Any comments about?
Well, thank you for recognizing us.
Yep, thanks a lot. That's awesome.
Most welcome.
We
Trust-
won.
We have a couple of comments or questions from trustees.
And we're in
Trustee
nationals.
Nationals are in Edmonton this year. 2 years from now, they're actually coming to Vancouver, so we're gearing up. We're hoping to have even more candidates for that one. But yeah, Edmonton, we fly out June 2nd, and we're back on June 7th, I think, 6th. June 6th. Yeah, it's a big event. It's a 4-day event in Edmonton. So yeah, very excited.
Trustee
Two
Hutchins?
questions were answered.
Oh, okay. Trustee Croft?
What did you speak about? I spoke about women in the trades.
Yep.
So trying to get more women in the trades and kind of like breaking past some of the stereotypes, I guess, that are around the field.
So do you feel called to the trades at all?
Maybe if you consider like technology a trade. I know they had like some heated robots or like heated gravity cars.
Yeah.
So there was some coding there. I saw it on the floor because you get to see all these different trades going on. Like you walk past, it's like this huge open expo kind of thing. And so there is some coding and like computer graphics. And I'm interested in maybe like software engineering and things like that. So, yeah, something interest in the trades. But I definitely think that just recognizing that there can be equals in the field is very important. But in nationals, I have to come up with a new topic, so I gotta get the right in the speech.
Thank you. Trustee Thorne?
I just want to say congratulations to you guys. You know, being involved in trades and working with Larry, I would suggest to you, young lady, that you go to your computer tonight and punch up British Columbia Construction Association Trades for Women. I was one of the founders
Oh,
and did STEP, the Skilled Trades Employment with the Construction Association. I would advise you both to look into it because there's opportunities there that go beyond VIU here as far as finding some extra dollars to make your career goals just that much better. And if you don't, I will know about it.
Sounds good.
So on behalf of the board, we'd just like to say congratulations and how proud we are of you, that you are students within our school district. And we have just a small token for appreciation, so thank you. Thank you. Okay, and we're moving to item C with Cowichan 2050. Bev Silverman from the CBRD is about to tell us all about that.
Yes, and I was promised tech support for my presentation.
Okay. And who would that be?
Thanks, Wayne.
Okay.
Is it PowerPoint? And which one?
I'm strictly an Android type user, and so working with Mac is always a challenge.
Some people think it's a blessing.
A challenge or a blessing?
A
Yes.
blessing. I was there for a second.
I could lead everybody in song. I mean, aren't we all just inspired after listening to those students?
Absolutely.
There.
Maybe they could come back every month.
That would be good.
Good way to start the meeting.
Or school choirs.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Chair, members of the school board, thank you very much for having me here today. It's my first time, only my second time at the school district offices, my first time in front of the board. My name is Bev Suderman, and I'm a community planner with the Cowichan Valley Regional District, and I'm also the coordinator for the Cowichan 2050 project. So I'm here to talk with you today about what Cowichan 2050 is and what it isn't. So a few years back, there was, some of you will remember it, there was an initiative to do a regional sustainability strategy, and we started that, and it became very, very hard, too difficult to do. So then it got transmogrified into a regional integrated planning strategy, and nobody quite knew what that was. And so we had the Visions 2020 project. Some people will remember, and we're actually participatory in that. I recognize some of the people, the names from that project. That started in 1992, and we'll be moving ahead into a Visions 2050 process through the Social Planning Cowichan group. But what we were trying to figure out is what is it that we actually need to do? Because we are facing a bunch of challenges in the region. And so what we need to do is we need to find a way to build relationships to be able to support more collaborative regional planning. And we need some documentation to support that, that process. Why do we need it? Basically, we're looking at unprecedented levels of change in the region. The most obvious, I think, to all of us is the climate change situation that we're facing. We're already experiencing climate change. It's affecting water and water availability, impacting agriculture and our forests, making us more vulnerable to wildfire and drought and those sorts of things. But also regional rising sea levels, which is going to impact homes, businesses, infrastructure, habitat in all of our coastal communities. Within North Cowichan, for example, Chemainus and Maple Bay are the most likely to be seriously affected, although Crofton will also be affected. First Nations are also often located, the reserves are often located in low-lying areas, so there's going to be big changes related to that. We're also looking at growth. We're looking at least 20,000 people coming into the region by, or the population growing by at least 20,000 people by the year 2050. And the question becomes, how will they be accommodated? Because we have a number of demographic situations that are facing us. Aging population. When you have an aging population, family sizes tend to be smaller, so you need more housing to accommodate the same number of people. We also are anticipating some governance changes within the region over the coming years. The one that's most in our face right now is, will Duncan and North Cowichan amalgamate? And if so, what does that look like, and what are the implications for that? There's the possibility of a new municipality being established in the south of the region. Mill Bay is very large, looks like a town, but it's still an unincorporated area. And at some point, the people there are going to want to have more local control over their situation, and they're going to go for becoming a municipality. And then, of course, the situation with First Nations, who have been in treaty negotiations now since the 1960s. And we're expecting that sometime soon, those negotiations will actually be finalized, and there will be self-governance for First Nations within the region. We don't know what that's going to look like, but we know that it's coming, and we need to be prepared. So based on just what I've said there, you can see that there are some very powerful drivers that are coming, that are facing us. And what it means is that we can't do governance in the way that we've done it in the past. We can't think of each jurisdiction, each municipality, the school district, whatever, doing these things in isolation and solving the problems in isolation. These are problems that require all of us to work better together and to collaborate more together. We've had some very successful examples of collaboration within the region, but on single issues or on sub-regional issues or something like that. And those have been very effective, and they make us feel optimistic that a broader, larger regional collaboration may be possible. The project itself, the Cowichan 2050 project, is based on looking at all kinds of initiatives that have occurred already within the region, and in looking at all of those initiatives, some of which are on the timeline there, we can see that the values of the people who live in the region tend to be fairly stable. Conserving water, conserving energy, maintaining the health of the region, the natural environment, greening the economy, collaborating, being energy smart. All of those values have remained constant since at least the 90s, and we're now well into the second decade of the 21st century. And for that reason, it seemed to us that rather than trying to reinvent the wheel or create a new vision, we would use the vision of the Visions 2020 process as the vision for this particular project. So the vision is that the people of the Cowichan region will work together to collectively take responsibility for a caring, safe, prosperous, diverse, ecologically sound community and ensure opportunities for current and future generations. That vision still resonates so true today for everybody that I've talked to so far about this project. So we have consistent values, we have excellent foundational work in terms of the official community plans and other kinds of regional plans that have already been done. But what we don't have is an overarching regional planning framework. And thus the need for a Cowichan 2050 project was born. So who's going to work on it? Well, we've been working on this now since September. We brought Ecoplan International as the consultants onto the project in September, and we've assembled a regional working group which is continuing to grow and change over time, but it's made up of staff working in local governments. So when I say local governments, I'm talking about those 5 governments within the region that are governed by the Local Government Act of British Columbia, First Nations, region serving non-profit organizations. The province and other agencies have been involved. So we have voluntary membership in that group, and it's expected to grow and shift over time. We've had 3 meetings so far of this particular group, and we've developed some products that we're hoping to take to an elected officials forum very soon. The stakeholders in this process are community organizations, agencies, and other groups, topic-specific focus groups. So what we see on a going forward basis is once we have the framework in place, then we'll be able to work on specific tasks within that framework and bring together larger groups of people to work on those things. So the shared and common themes that have emerged from the discussion so far is that we need, man, I hate it when I do that. Anyway, more collaborative regional planning is required. We have opportunities to improve, coordinate, and consolidate our regional efforts. We have common values around regional collaboration. I apologize for the typo. We need to be inclusive, transparent, clear, consistent, honest, authentic, and conscious of our resource capacities, which includes our limitations. We need to develop a product that's both aspirational and practical. So aspirational, what is it we are hoping to achieve, but also practical, how does it guide us on the ground tomorrow? So some of the emerging common aspirations relate to our ecosystems health, the regional carrying capacity, reconciliation and governance, or how we can work together better, and preserving our region's livability. We presented this information to the CVRD board on November 29th, and there was a lot of interest and support for the initiative. It's actually an initiative within the strategic plan for the CVRD board within this term of office. And we've invited the school board to join us. And so Rod Allen and Denise Augustine are both on the distribution list, haven't been able to make a meeting yet. But we're also hoping that the school board as a whole would be supportive of this initiative. And how, so I'm here to ask you today how you would like to be involved on a moving forward basis, and what kind of relationship we can build between the school board and the local governments within our region.
Well, I would think that it would take some discussion on our part, and probably we need some time to figure that out as a group. So I think if we could get back to you at a later date, that would be easier for us than try to respond kind of individually from the table.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Trustee Hutchins?
Yeah, but what is a timeline for this whole undertaking? Obviously you presented this on November 29th, but when did you actually start it?
September.
Was it September?
Yeah, we started it in September. We presented to the CVRD board in November. We've had 3 regional working group meetings so far, early November, February, and April. And we're moving ahead with planning the elected officials forum as kind of a workshop for the local government elected officials in May. And then we'll have a 4th regional working group meeting to take the input from the elected officials and try and tie a bow on phase 1 of this project. So essentially the products that are in draft form right now that we're coming up with is, and maybe this would be a first step in participating for the school board, it's kind of a charter document, a statement about a willingness and a commitment to collaboration, however that looks to the school board. So there's this charter document. There is a second document that we've been calling it terms of reference, but realized it's not really a terms of reference for the regional working group. It's actually a scope of work. And so as we move into phase 2, then whoever is the regional working group at that time will have to work on figuring out the exact terms of reference, which will include what are the priority projects for us to move forward on together. And then the last document that we've been working on is called a background or a primer for collaboration, regional collaboration. And what it is it's a summary and an analysis of the 300 plans and documents that the consultants have reviewed as part of this drawing out the themes, what we have in common in terms of specific topic areas, specifically around land use, and where there are weaknesses or gaps. And we're thinking that that will form the basis for an agenda for ongoing discussions about regional collaboration. I think the foci of the future discussions, though, will be around land use management questions, in particular, growth management. How do we structure our communities so that they work better for the people who live in them, and we protect as much of the rural landscape as possible for all of the values that those landscapes bring to us and their own intrinsic value, of course.
Thank you. Trustee Schmidt and then
Would
Trustee
you be
Phil.
willing to share your PowerPoint with us? Like, as for send it to Gina so that we can get a copy of that?
Sure.
That'd be great, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Phil.
I'm very, very interested, and you know, when you talked about treaties, you're more optimistic than I am.
I
There
think
were
50 years
things-
is enough.
There were things done in the past that had potentially great possibilities, where as a band counselor, I got to come to Ladysmith and be an alderman. I got to start learning the fundamentals of running a city, whereas most chief and councils don't get that opportunity, and everything has to be expanded beyond our borderlines so that we coincide with our neighbors to make sure that we're all in sync and not going to be regretful down the road. But I'm very, very, Denise, I'm very interested.
Thank you. Trustee Croft.
Thank you. Thank you very much for presenting today and for the invitation. I think it will be, of course everyone has to talk about it, but it appears to be a really great opportunity to introduce education and perhaps keeping our young people here in the region and how that can play into a vital future for everybody. So thank you very much.
Yeah, the video that we're making, we're hoping to have it finished by the end of May or early June. And it's going to start with children and it's going to end with children, because ultimately, I think that idea came from Rod, but ultimately, why are we doing this? We're not doing this for ourselves because most of us won't be here by 2050. I'm so glad to hear.
Personally, I'm planning on it.
Yeah, I may also still be here, but I may not, I have grandchildren who are growing up here, and I want to make sure that my grandchildren have the best chance of making a life for themselves here as well.
Well, thank you so much for involving the school board, because there are times when we are not considered a part of a local government initiative in the region, and we definitely are. And you can kind of hear from the comments that we're interested, excited by this possibility of joining into a regional plan. We too are experiencing some of the factors that you brought forward. The growth, for example, impacts us a lot, and the climate change. So we are in that involved area already. So I am sure that we will be talking more about it, and we'll get back to you very soon.
Yep. And if there's anything I can do aside from providing a PowerPoint, I'd be happy to. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back to the agenda, and we're on item 5, report of closed meeting. Mr. Sandquist, please.
Thank you. Earlier today, 3:30, the board met in closed session and received some personnel updates, as well as an update on the Cowichan Secondary School project definition report.
Thank you. Moving to number 6, old business A, the action list. And we take a quick peek of that on page 12. Most of the actions have already been completed, so we're just waiting for the idling signs. Any comments on the action list? Okay. Moving to the Canadian School Board Association Conference. On page 13, we had asked staff to give us an idea of the cost if one or more trustees went to the conference in Halifax to express the need for boards of education? Mr. Sanquist, would you like to talk about the briefing note?
Sure. In your package is a briefing note. We've looked at the cost of airfare as well as accommodation at the conference hotel, the actual registration fee for the conference, and the trustee per diem, and we estimate that the cost per trustee for attendance would be $3,270.
Thank you, Mr. Sanquist. So, a costly venture. However, certainly the value of it is important and open for comment. Trustee Hutchins.
Is there 2 trustees that are willing and able to attend on July 4th to 7th?
Are there 2 trustees available?
one.
Is that one available? People who are available. Trustee Croft, I'm available, so that's 2. Maybe we don't want to send 2, but
It's kind of expensive.
anyone else interested? Okay. Trustee Schmidt?
I know I said this before, but I want to say it again, that because of where this is being held and what's previously happened with the board, I just think it's really important, especially from us at Cowichan, it's just really important that we have a strong presence there. So I move.
Okay.
That we send up to 2 trustees to the
Canadian School Board
Thank you.
Association Conference in Halifax.
correct.
Okay, moved by Trustee Schmidt. Is there a seconder? Trustee Hutchins, further conversation? Trustee Good?
I think it's a good idea, but I'm really wrapped around the cost. I don't know, I apologize, I may sound like a cheapskate, but we've got just a small budget. You know, I can see 2, providing one is our one chairman. And
I don't
no, I think it's good that we have 2, but I like it, I just concerned.
Okay. Motion still on the floor to send up to 2 trustees. Any further comments? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving to Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To begin with, Mill Bay Elementary Principal, we have hired Kim Ondrick, currently in Vernon. Our hope is that she will be here early next week to start her new job. The Vernon School District has been very cooperative with us as we're trying to arrange a fairly quick transfer. Kim is the founder, originator, brains behind a number of programs. The most current one is Vernon Community School, which is a model not dissimilar to how we'd be seeing much of the nature-based program at Mill Bay look like. So it was a great opportunity for Kim to agree to come and join the team. She's 30-year experienced kind of a person, comes super highly recommended. So Kim will be joining us. Thought I would give you a little update. We are on day 2 of registration for the Mill Bay Nature School. We currently have 68 students registered over the first 2 days. Yeah, they're still coming in. 25 kindergartens, 21 grade 1s, 11 grade 2s, and 11 grade 3s. So kind of an interesting blend and split of kids. Cheers for kids.
Yes. Can I just comment on the website description of the school and the pictures of the new principal? It's amazing. Like, I think if I had kids that age, I would be signing them up too. Well done. Trustee Schmidt.
Just out of curiosity, how many of the kids, the 68 students, were already currently students in the district? Do you know?
Most. We haven't actually done it.
We're
completely.
tracking it.
We're tracking it, but haven't gone in to look yet, but most are currently in the district, most from the south end.
Thank you. Anything further on Mill Bay Elementary principal or update?
I'll just say, I think the website is awesome, and thanks to Denise and Kim, a collaborative effort with Katie to sort of the three of them putting their brains together to make this look and feel different, and have a sense of what it's going to look and feel like when we open the doors. So,
Great.
kind of cool. And Mr. Sandquist is now sleeping, having seen those numbers come in. So it's
All good.
it's all good. It's our new motto. It's all good. So for an update, lots going on. It's April, May, June, the final month of the year, which just starts after spring break and just flows continuously until the end of June. Youth Action Day was April 20th. It happened over at Quam. More of a conference feel to it than a workshop-y kinds of things kids could choose. By all reports, a great success. Tri-Trade is going on with our grade 7s during April and May, so that's continuing. Where all our grade 7s get an opportunity to go in and almost build a house, parts of a house, do some framing, some wiring, some plumbing. It's thanks to Cheryl who masterminds that for us each year. Awesome opportunity for kids to see what that's like, and I think it turns a lot of kids' heads towards the trades, and they sort of get a real hands-on experience with it. Ready, Set, Learn is happening May the 2nd, 12:30 to 4 p.m. at Duncan Community Lodge, a free drop-in educational and health fair for children aged 2 to 5 and their families. It's already been happening around the district, but the next one coming up is May the 2nd. Transportation Department is having an open house. I think they should call it an open bus, but they insist on calling it an open house. May 16th, 3 to 6. Hot dogs and snacks and buses for kids and parents to tour and staff on hand to sort of talk about what riding the bus is all about and bus safety and a variety of things. So it's the first time we've tried something like that. I think it's a great opportunity. So thanks to Monroe and Selena and those folks thanks to Selena.
That's great.
For putting that together, and they'll be at hand to help with registrations because we're in that time of year and getting kids to register. So turn it a bit more of an event. Métis Camp is happening next week, May 7th to 11th, from 9:30 to 1:30 each day at the Glenora Trails Head Park. Alexander, Alex Aiken, Bench, Tanzer, and Lake Cowichan students will be participating this year. And if you haven't had a chance to swing by, it's very, very cool. Miss Augustine would like to say something.
I just want to add that they've also generously will be having it open and available for teachers on Brody Day on the 4th. So that might be another time for folks to drop by.
Cool, thank you. That's awesome. Lots of planning going on right now around that, some fine tuning about that. So it's a great opportunity for our kids and for the Métis community to really highlight themselves in their work. May 18th, always a fun day in our district, is Mini O. So that's our annual Mini O track meet from 9:30 to 1 p.m. at the Cowichan Sportsplex. Opportunity for elementary students in grades 3 to 7 with special education designations to put on their school jerseys and participate in the track meet. And it's always an awesome event to swing by and see the joy and excitement on those kids' faces. Larry talked about Skills Canada. He covered it nicely. Concours, the French language public speaking competition was held at Colemount Provaux on April the 10th. The district, we're sending 6 reps onto the provincial concours in early May in Richmond. The district's primary and intermediate science and drama challenges took place at Bonner this year on April 24th. Over 300 kids from 14 schools participated in that. Just, again, thing of beauty. Just a really awesome opportunity kids to get together.
Dave Rowland, Trustee Schmidt?
Can I just say that the growth in the kids, I've done this, presented medals at this for years and years and years now, and the growth in the kids every year, it just never ceases to amaze me. You know, it's still the same ages, but the kids' talent and abilities just grow every year, and it's just one of those days that's it's worth going to.
Another thumbs up, I think.
Big ones.
Yeah, awesome work by staff across the district, making sure the kids have those kinds of learning experiences, and it grows every year, so it's pretty cool. The district elementary chess tournament, 94 kids from grades 2 to 7 from 13 schools participated. In March, we didn't get a chance to talk about that, but again, 94 kids playing chess, pretty cool. Hector McIntosh Awards are being held tonight. May 1st at Brentwood College, and then the finals will be May 14th at the Ramada Inn. And we have a number of students participating in that. Wrestling competitions, a Shemana secondary student, Sue Yeon Kim, won 2nd place in the Nationals and the Remembrance Day Legion poster competition. That's awesome. Wrestling, Shemana secondary students, Hannah Tuplin, Luther Tidler, and Emily Reed went to the Nationals in wrestling. Luther finished 1st in his division and Hannah finished 3rd. Bench Elementary, Dalen Middlemas has won a Leaders of Tomorrow award. Sumo bot competitions going on at Bench, and Bench participating in that, and the list goes on. Paulson Elementary participated in a Voices of Nature project with the entire school body, K to 3, eco-themed songs through music, and Holly Arnson and Kevin Wright from the Artist Response Team came to the school and gave a 4-day music residency. Culmination of an evening concert for the schools and family and community. The focus was to put students in leadership roles to share and celebrate their ecological learning and inspire positive action to their families and community. Really cool, and I'm having a conversation with Holly to see how we can bring that to more schools next year to see how that could play out more across the district. What's going on? Nourish Couch and Art Contest is happening. A little bit last minute, but that we found out about it. Nourish Cowichan has partnered with a Canadian company that produces eco-friendly lunch school gear, a waste-free lunch program called Funkins. They're holding an art contest. To date, more than 450 students in 10 of our schools are working on a design this week. The winner gets a free lunch bag, and with their design on it, manufactured with their design on it, and lunch for their entire school, courtesy of Nourish Cowichan. And that winning design will be selected next week, so that was a very quick turnaround on that. I think I talked about that. Some stuff going on. Spuptidl is this Thursday, May 3rd, our annual Hulkaminum competition / collaboration. It's a competition, but it's really about kids working together to practice on and focus and showcase Hulkaminum language. District scholarships are being held at secondary schools during the week of May 14th. Again, a number of trustees participate in that, and it's always great to see those kids. Shelley Moore is back with sessions on May 15th and 16th at the Duncan Curling Club, and we'll have teams of teachers from schools working with Shelley again. Poetry Slam, May 23rd at Quam Library. John McCrae, a visiting poet from Vancouver, has been to all the elementary schools, working with them on slam poetry. And they'll come and participate on that day. We have a team coming from Harvard Grad School of Education here on May the 8th, 9th, and 10th. To check us out, see what's going on, take a look around. Amelia Peterson is one of those, and Amelia this is her 2nd year of coming, I think, 3rd year, researching with a number of our teachers, looking at sort of transformation from a teacher's perspective. Joe Almeida is coming. He focuses on deeper learning, and his focus with us is working with us and probably 3 or 4 other districts in British Columbia and another cluster of districts in in the United States to look at how districts are aligning themselves to help create the conditions where those kinds of classrooms and learning experiences are more prevalent than not in schools. So you don't just talk about, we would like these kinds of learning opportunities for our kids in a sort of a transformed classroom. There's a whole lot of things that have to line up to get there, from governance right through the system. So it's a project that we're going to sort of help JAL design and figure out how that's going to run in BC. Will be some research over a few years, working with the district as well as potentially 3 other districts or 4 other districts in British Columbia. So JAL's here with a fellow named John Hopkins, one of his research partners, on the 9th and 10th to take a look around the districts and meet some folks and see what's going on. So it'll be kind of exciting. JAL's kind of a big deal. And I will be away May 12th to the 17th to continue work with the OECD on their Learning 2030 visionary document of what learning could and should look like globally by the year 2030. And I'll be away because someone has to go and do that in Paris, May 12th to the 17th. But for the record, the OECD offices are all underground, and so the walk from the hotel to the office is great, and then you're underground for the next 14 or 15 hours that day, and then you surface that night and walk back to your hotel room. It's a huge underground complex for security and all that kind of stuff. But it's always a fun time and lots to learn, and I look forward to the learning that will be happening there. That, Madam Chair, is my update, summer games update.
Let me just say, wow, what an amazing district that has so many activities and so much talent of students, and to be recognized internationally is really quite amazing. So thank you to everybody who's in the district.
Everybody's on deck for all these things.
It's an amazing time. Thank you.
That's why we all look like we look like. Monroe, summer games update. I know we're finally tuned the machine here.
It's really ramping up. I think if I may of note, several of you were at the torch lighting. The key for me there, and thank you to Trustee Schmidt for her coordination. Summer Games is a showcase of sport. The entertainment, the talent of kids is unreal. Like, go to the opening ceremonies just for the entertainment. It is really going to be a fantastic show. So, yeah, it's really exciting. It's very busy. I'll be heading to a board of directors meeting right after this tonight, yeah, it's cool. It's busy. We've got an amazing team.
And Mill Bay Elementary update I gave under the Mill Bay Elementary principal.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, moving to Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Sandquist.
Thank you. Only one item this evening under my report. Normally this is when we would be bringing the budget for adoption, and that's been delayed until sometime after receipt of the Classroom Enhancement Fund application, which went in yesterday and approximates $8 million for the overhead and the teacher requirement for the budget for next year. But on to my agenda item, which is the new playground equipment program submission. So the ministry announced $5 million provincially for playground replacements, of which they told our district you can apply for 3. So we applied on April 16th for new playgrounds at Mill Bay Elementary. For obvious reasons, there isn't one there. Alexander and Alex Aiken Elementary Schools. Now the other 2 were because they're wood structures, and it's to bring them more up to date with the way the rest of our playgrounds are constructed. We did ask for fully accessible playgrounds for all 3 of those, so that was an option. Didn't understand why it was an option, but it was an option, so we thought that only made sense.
Nice.
So with an application for about $315,000 has gone into the ministry, and we wait to hear back.
Well, thank you. Mr. Allen?
Sorry, Madam Chair, I forgot one item.
Oh, well, I don't know. Okay, let's go back.
Just because I glanced over at the whiteboard. On Thursday and Friday, senior staff spent 20 hours over the course of Thursday night, Friday. Huge kudos to Gina, who kept us on task, and actually we could doze in and out. Gina was on fingers flying for those full 20 hours. It was difficult to get people back in the room on Friday morning after the massive day on Thursday, but that day was with Leroy Sloan and Terry Gunnarsson to align the admin procedures with the new policy handbook. So we went through every single line of every single admin procedure. And we're not done, so we have lots of work, so that continues to be a major piece of work for us. While we're doing all the cool stuff, trying to also pay attention to the really important stuff. That's how you get things lined up and coherent and in writing a whole bunch of things that hasn't happened here in the past. So huge thanks to senior staff for coming back on Friday morning after Thursday. It was awesome. We still have a lot of work to do. Our anticipation continues to be to have that completed for you June board meeting. That's going to be a long month. Admin procedures, however, are more nimbly updated, but we'll have a pretty much final package for you in June to see, along with the admin, along with the policy. So, again, thank you to Gina.
And to staff. Thank you all for a massive job, I'm sure. I am amazed that we are trying to rewrite our policy book in a coordinated effort within 5 months, when it's been years and years and years in the background developing to the point where we are now. So, massive job. Thank you for taking it on. Okay, moving to committees and outside organizations. DPAC, Kathy?
That the Board of Education, School District 79 receives the minutes of the February 15th, 2018 DPAC meeting. So moved.
Moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item B, Trustee Hutchins.
I'd like to move that the Board of Education at School District 79 receives the minutes of the March 27th, 2018 Board of Education and Business Committee meeting.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Hutchins, seconded by Trustee Schmidt. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item C, Trustee Hutchins.
I clicked. Oh yeah, the special board education. I'd like to move that the Board of Education at School District 79 receives the minutes of April 10th, 2018 special board education and business committee.
Thank you, Trustee Hutchins.
That was special.
Moved by Trustee Hutchins, seconded by Trustee Doman. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item D, Trustee Sack, Trustees Schmidt and Croft.
That the Board of Education, School District 79 receives the highlights from the April 11th, 2018 DSAC meeting. So moved.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item E, Trustee Croft.
I'd like to move that the Board of Education of School District 79 receives a summary of the April 17th, 2018 Advisory Committee meeting. Our summary is the best, really.
Moved by Trustee Croft, seconded by Trustee Schmidt. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Trying to break it up a little.
Moving to item 9, F, report from the BCSDA annual general meeting. And we have that on your table. So that was last week, right up until last Saturday. So basically just a report on a couple of the featured speakers that said some very interesting information for us. The first one on technology really caught my interest, and I'm sure with others, that while our access to technology is providing more information, we have actually less deeper learning than we had in the past. And the fact that 91% of our 16 to 24-year-olds use social media for networking. We've seen it, but we didn't know that it was so high. The other general message was there's a lack of connection, belonging, and meaning that's being created, and we need to look at relationships and focus on people first, and then bring in technology. The second area that was provided was focusing on the successful transitions for our Aboriginal students. And Mike Downey, who is brother of Gord Downey of Tragically Hip, did the presentation on Secret Path, which is a video, or video documentary of Charlie Wenjack, the Ojibwe boy who died while running away from his residential school. It was interesting that Mike Downey made the connection to it provides a way through that video to look at reconciling the past and bringing healing to the nation, and it's like Canada coming home. So it was a very powerful and emotional time, after which the trustees from First Nations committees, led by our trustee Joe Thorne, who sang and talked to the congregation, raised $827.85 from the audience to contribute to the Secret Path Gold Fund. It was a really authentic and emotional moment, followed by the Nishka dancers, so it was very great. Minister Rob Fleming addressed the congregation, and I recorded things that he said there that would be pretty much what we already know, but he was there to speak again to us. Provincial Council, I attended because Trustee DeGroot wasn't able to attend, and it really was a 10-minute meeting. And it was really about the budget, and so the budget went up a wee bit, and ours did because of our enrollment growth, and the auditors were approved. The BCSTA executive was elected, and those are the people that are now our board of directors. And all the motions were interesting as usual. We will be getting the report very soon. Any further comments from Trustee Hutchins?
Well, I'm interested you use the word interesting because there was a surprising amount of votes that were within 5 points of each other, 124 to 119, 123 to 117. It was an interesting session.
Yes. It was, though, the best business meeting that I've ever attended. There was a sense of camaraderie and humor in the room. It was best. Oh,
But
Trustee
despite
Hutchins
being
has
polarized, it was.
Yeah,
It was.
it was.
Oh, I lost another one.
Yeah, it was very good. Any other comments, Trustee Croft?
Just building on what Rob said, wasn't there actually a vote that was only one vote?
Yes.
They won by one vote, 125 to 124.
Yes. I can't remember what the motion was.
Remember the numbers, that was impressive.
I think that was the one that we did get on the right side.
Yeah.
And we were cheering
Yeah.
for that. I can't remember what motion. Anything else, Trustee Thorpe?
I think this had to be the highlight of my term, to gather all of the First Nations like that. The highest honor you can get is when all of the First Nations line up beside you. And it's something a lot of people don't understand, but in the Indian world, it's like winning the lottery. And I was so moved by Secret Path, and it takes a lot. It doesn't take much to move me, but this one just pushed me over the edge. The voting was amazing. The first 5 or 6 were recounts. I I have never seen so much. It's like it took us 4 years to finally understand what we needed to do. And I was so impressed with every community from throughout our province that I wish it was like that every day. I think we're on to something, and I loved it.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 10, upcoming meetings and events on page 29 and 30. So 29 are the board areas, and on page 30 are all the graduations, the year-end barbecue, the retirement function. I hope everyone is available to be there. So I think we have a really good outline for us. I'll also pass around the grad ceremonies so that you can sign up for which ones you are able to attend. Anything further on meetings and events? Okay, moving to correspondence, we did receive a letter from Minister Fleming regarding the Premier's Awards for Excellence in Education. And at the conference, he did say that they had created this award system because our school students are doing so well that we should feel so proud of our education system, and he knows teachers are the ones that are making that happen. So that was the intent. So it is here, and there is a recommended motion that we receive and file the correspondence, moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor, motion carries. Moving to new business, none. Moving to question period. Caroline.
Karen Cohen from the DPAC. Just two questions actually. The first one is, can the board give us a date in which the new name of the current Couching Secondary School Mission campus is going to be formalised and announced, so that we can work to get back in place with constitution, bylaws and such like?
Okay, we don't have a targeted date. We had assumed it was going, I had assumed that it would be Quamachin campus and Cowichan Secondary. However, perhaps we need to formalize that, so we will bring that back in June.
No, I just had a question.
And was that your second question? You have one?
And my second question was actually really interesting to see the new principal for Millbay Elementary has a community schools background. Would the board be considering using the community school sort of
umbrella name
or option for that school? I mean, there are two community schools that are currently in existence in the district, but any other schools don't have the same benefits. It's great. Perhaps all schools should be community schools. Is that something that the board are considering, or is it just?
It has not been on the table at this point, and we would wait for our staff to make any recommendations around that. There is a budget line that's also involved with that designation, and I think as we're going forward on the budget, people could think about it. Okay, any further questions? Okay, motion to adjourn. Trustee Doman and Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Motion carries.